560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson.
Insert Democrat socialist here.
Runs the Democratic House floor for 30 plus years running. He's promising this and he's stealing that. Where can you get that kind of money? He's using your house like his own piggy bank. You ought to know by now. You can pay off your house here in Illinois, but you can never keep up with the taxes. Oh, how it's always been the plan to have a taxpayer pay, no doubt. Not a matter of if anymore, but when you're moving out. I said, when you're moving out.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. And that theme music means it's time for our weekly confab with Ted Dabrowski, president of Wirepoints.org, all things Illinois policy related. This pronouncement from the fifth floor, Mayor BLM Brandon, announcing that his vision for a Gimme Dat Chicago has financing today. That was last week. We passed our $1.25 billion bond ordinance, which will bring transformative investments to Chicago neighborhoods with critical assistance for new businesses, cultural centers, affordable homes, and neighborhood and workforce development. He's bringing it all under the city's umbrella.
A better, stronger, safer Chicago.
Who is lining up to buy BLM Brandon bonds? That's what I want to know. Ted, thanks for joining us.
Ted, are you there?
Good morning, guys. Good morning, guys.
Are you staking out some of those bonds for all these transformative investments? This is how we invest in people, said BLM Brandon.
I want some of those in my portfolio. No, there's going to be demand. There's always demand for Chicago bonds and Illinois bonds because we pay
Yield.
the highest interest rates.
Yeah.
Yield, and people are hungry for it. Of course, less so than it was in the past when rates were zero. So now, Chicago competes with other places, and so maybe it'll be a little tougher. But they'll find buyers. But I think the real problem is going to be is that this is like, if I could convince anybody, if I could convince people, this is a horrible thing to do. The more power over such critical infrastructure things in the power of Brandon Johnson and the city council's hands is sad. I think we run the risk of them taking the next steps, and we've talked about that, LaSalle Street and others. They're going to try to do things in their vision, and their vision is highly flawed, as I think we've talked about.
City-owned housing, city-owned, essentially, or financed businesses. It's funny because all he's doing is what's being proposed by his fellow travelers at the federal level. Last week, an op-ed from Comrade Bernie and AOC, the front girl for the Socialist Spice Girls, announcing our Green New Deal for public housing. That is a win-win-win. That's a triple win. That's not a twofer, it's a threefer. Win-win-win for America. Here's why. The U.S. has lost 1 in 4 public housing units to privatization, demolition, and underfunding over the last decade. Need to shore that up, put those towers back, Ted, and retrofit some of those office buildings in the financial district similarly, so that we win for the people.
Yeah, I think it's a sad state. And we've talked a lot about how Chicago is already at the bottom of the barrel nationally. If you look at the Case-Shiller Index, which has the value of properties in Chicago, and if you look at the last 20 years, there's one city that stands out above all the others when you're talking about the 20 largest cities in the country, and that's Chicago. It'll be at the bottom of the list for home growth, home value growth, and that's a lot of that has to do with failed policies. And now we're going to have guys and gals who think that they can do better than the markets, and that's been the problem in Chicago. Is we got people who are smarter than the markets, and they will continue to make a mess of downtown.
And what about the migrant situation? I mean, $70 million was voted by the city council, not without some pushback from like Alderman Lopez, Alderman Beal. But where is that money coming from, Ted?
Oh, geez, it's the same money. All you got to do is borrow $1.25 billion, and you got money. I think what's interesting about the whole migrant crisis, and they're getting a little smarter. If you followed the news, they want to combine the homelessness approach by combining the the traditional Chicagoans who are homelessness with the migrants and create one pool and one management source, so that way they're not creating the envy between the two. So that's the kind of smart quote, I put that between quotes, smart action they're going to take to eliminate or try to eliminate some of the animosity between groups, is lump them all together.
It's bringing people
we'll
together.
That works.
That's harmonizing.
Yeah, bring people together.
That is wonderful. Bringing people together around the same trough. I mean, that's what we do in Chicago best we can. Sometimes the trough isn't as big as it needs to be. You got to get a bigger trough.
Yep. Well, which brings us to the 9% raises that Chicago Teachers Union wants. People thought that was a max. So the Chicago Teachers Union is negotiating a new contract, probably a 4-year contract,
Right.
maybe 5. And in there, they want new salaries and new benefits. And of course, with Brandon Johnson in the seat there, the opposition, in theory, should be very limited to what the CTU wants. And so they want 9% minimum raises per year. And on top of that would be other stuff. 9% raises per year for the next 4 years. I mean, imagine that. I mean, I would love a guaranteed 9% raise a year.
Well, I hope
If
that
they
was
would get
just
that in their contract.
Yeah. I thought that was just
Go ahead.
a starting point. What they really want is $2,000 per illegal child that is now in the classroom. So
Well,
anyone that's
yeah.
here, because they
That's
need to
on-
fill the
that's-
classrooms, but
Yeah,
they
that's
also
on
are
the-
going to give them a benefit.
That's on the institutional side. But first we get paid. Then the system gets
Exactly.
paid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's keep the rank
So
order
it's
priority right.
amazing.
Yeah.
You
No,
know,
it's
if
cool.
that
Hey, well,
happens,
say,
it's a
hey,
continuation.
what's the problem? States Davis case. And so what?
And so
And so what? They want 36% over 4 years. And so what? They want $2,000 per kid of an illegal in this city, in this country. So what? So what are you going to do about it?
We're going to pay it. We're
Yeah,
gonna,
that's
you know,
right.
just
Or
shove
they'll
and
strike.
pay.
As they said this, they're still keeping the possibility of a strike open.
And they
That'd be a
want
scene.
housing, too, for CPS employees who can't afford to live in this city.
Damn straight.
Well, then get a second job. A lot of people have second jobs.
No.
Well, the teachers I know.
These
a
are
lot of them have second
educators.
jobs.
They're singularly focused. They're all artists. And as such, you know, the fact that they're the highest paid teachers adjusted for cost of living in the country, they need to be higher still.
No,
That's how it is.
What goes unsaid is that, and what goes unsaid is the starting teachers have the highest starting salary in the country, as you just said, over $60,000. I mean, if you're a young person starting at CPS and making over $60,000, I mean that's pretty good compared to people who move into advertising or something like that. Who are in their
Pretty
40s.
good.
Well, you have 16 weeks off a year, too.
Pretty
You don't have to
good
work
ain't
reality.
good enough. These are advertising, finance, the financial services. What are you talking about? These are people that are educating the next generation of our kids. There is no more important job. They should all be making as much as Ken Griffin used to make when he was in Chicago. You can't put a price tag on educating kids, Ted, Amy. I don't know why you hate teachers.
I don't hate teachers.
You do.
No, I don't. I love.
You do,
I love
you
my
do.
son's teachers. They were
Nope.
great. And they
Nope, not if
cared.
you don't write a blank check. You don't like teachers. That's what I've learned.
Right, if you complain about the results, you hate teachers, right? So it's I like to say it's hard to blame any one group because it's so damn it's so bad that you have to blame everybody who touches the system. So
Well,
teachers,
and-
of course included, but
and with respect,
administrators, everybody.
yeah, with respect to the migrant kids in school, I look at this. I mean, people look at this in a negative light
I try to be.
because you're not welcoming like I am.
I'm very welcoming.
I'm more welcoming, and let me tell you how welcoming
Tell
I am.
me, and I'll tell you how I'm welcoming.
I'm looking at this like the college portal. All we're doing is we've established a portal, and we're transferring in K through 12 students from Central and South America and Eastern Europe and anywhere else from where they would like to move to come to Chicago. We're just transferring them in so that we can fill these slots because as I see from Wirepoints, the number of more than half-empty schools in Chicago has doubled over the past decade. Fill these slots so the properly paid teachers, once they get the 36% raise, can impose their artistry on kids the world over. And now we're not just making it rain for Chicago's kids. We're doing it globally. How do you like that?
I do like the portal mentioned, because we have a lot of Illinois kids who've entered the portal and gone to Texas and Tennessee and Florida. So we have these half-empty schools. We used to have 75 of the Chicago schools that were half-empty or more. It's doubled 163 schools. So, like you say, we need people to fill those schools because they're empty.
Uprising has 51 students and 52 teachers. Yeah.
Well,
so I heard they're getting a lot of the migrants
phenomenal.
there. Yep.
absolutely. That's why
One-on-one's just a little boring for the
Well,
teachers.
first of all, that's the proper ratio. So we need more students and more
they're
teachers
still
and
not doing
wraparound
well.
services.
Mhm.
You need language support. You need financial planners. You need attorneys, real estate agents, all for each kid. You need like the full complement of professional services that anybody might need coming to Chicago. We'll pick up, by the way, too. We'll pick up the real estate agents commission too on any home they want to purchase with city assistance. I think that's only fair.
Right.
I mean, let's do this. Let's do this right. Let's do this big, like Stacey Davis Gates wants. But by the way, I saw that Springfield offered this sort of pro forma, I stood up to Chicago bulljive vote. Some no confidence vote in BLM Brandon and Stacey Davis Gates about what they want to do to eliminate selective enrollment schools. No. We're going to vote against that to show how we're, if you're not a Chicago legislator, how we're standing up to Chicago. If you are, we're standing up to the teachers union. I mean, that's so contrived.
Oh, it was funny because I had some people call me and say, that's good news. Why don't we cover that? And I said, wait a minute. The same people who are trying to protect the selective enrollment schools are the same ones who just killed Invest in Kids Act. Let's not forget that. So let's not jump up and down about these guys. This has more to do with with internal battles than it does with the fact that these legislators are somehow now keen on choice.
And the people that said that to you, that, hey, this is good news, you should report on it, those I bet are like center-right people, right?
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Because,
they
they want to
understand.
find something good to celebrate.
Either they're just sort of given in to the delusion of wanting, like the rest of the state, and just tell me beautiful lies. You just tell me there's hope, even if tell me this is an instance of something to be hopeful about, even if it's not. Or they still understand absolutely nothing about this political class and this political culture. It's just stunning.
Dan, they don't understand, and this is it. They want to say, hey, we've got to say something good about what's going on. Because Pritzker and they actually did something good, and we should make sure we celebrate that and cheer them on. Never mind that they'll stab you in the back on the things that are really important, like investing in kids. So it is the educational elite continue to be confused about what's good and what's bad.
Absolute willing, enthusiastic participants in their own and their community's destruction. I mean, this is the under-discussed story, is what we and the right or center-right don't do. I mean, what does it take? We talk about getting through to BLM Brandon or the teachers union or union rank and file. We can't even get through to people who are similarly disposed.
That's absolutely right. And what people forget in this bill is that in addition to blocking the selective enrollment school closings, is the legislators actually appease the unions by saying you can't close down empty schools either. So
of course,
the unions got what they wanted, right? Because that was part of it. Originally the bill was don't close selective enrollment schools, and suddenly it became don't close selective enrollment schools or all these empty schools. So there you go.
I feel like I'm in line. The movie Airplane, where that woman gets hysterical and a line forms. Yeah. Somebody tries to slap her out of it, and then other people in line have like a tire iron and a pipe and a baseball bat. I think that's what we need. I think we need a line, and those people who call you and who fit that profile, treat them like the hysterical woman in the Airplane movie. I don't know what else will work.
That's really good. That's really good. It's exactly that. We keep slapping them in the face and it doesn't work. So we go to the next one, it doesn't work. It's good.
Ted Dabrowski, President of Wirepoints.org, all things Illinois policy related. Thanks as always, Ted.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. On AM 560. The Answer.
Chicagoland agrees. McGrath Lexus is the overwhelming choice of luxury vehicle shoppers. Their unparalleled team of sales consultants expertly help you navigate their immense inventory to arrive at the perfect vehicle for you. With 2 convenient state-of-the-art dealerships in downtown Chicago and in Westmont, they offer 2 times the selection and 2 times the discounts. And right now, McGrath Lexus is offering a premium for your current vehicle. It will never be worth more. Make this the year you enjoy the luxury of Lexus as only McGrath can offer. Your McGrath experience will take Lexus ownership to a whole new level. Do not deny yourself this privilege. You deserve it. Visit one of our 2 McGrath Lexus dealerships in downtown Chicago or in Westmont, or visit us online at McGrathLexus.com, because